Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Greetings to the 12 tribes of Israel, dispersed but not destroyed. I like to say welcome to everybody at the sound of my voice. We are the Awakening Remnant Coalition Dallas. I am your host, Yemihu Ben Yahuda, and we are glad to spend another Shabbat day here with you, teaching out of the manuscript, the Sefer, the Bible, Torah, the Tanakh, the Beri Hadashah, the Apocrypha books. We just want to be able to give each and every one of you a chance to really just sit back with us and learn the Word, even in its Hebraic form. It is a pleasure to be here with you each and every Shabbat day for our classes. I want to thank everybody for all your well wishes on last week, on the passing of with the passing of my mother last month and the burial that finally happened on last week. What's up? What's up? What's up? Nobody eats. I just want to thank everybody who came through and showed love to us and our family. Also want to thank, all the people. What's going on, Brother Faisal? I want to thank everybody that has been contributing to the Art DFW. We bought a brand new ring light. Awesome. And so you might see me looking all, with the soft hues down, looking all cinematic. Don't even say a word a lot. Yeah, I want to tell everybody thanks for all your help, all your contributions. They do not go missed. Shalom, Aki. Joseph will be here shortly. He's gonna be a few minutes late logging in. He had to do a service this morning, so when he gets an opportunity to come in, he will. As you saw in the posting, we're going over Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 19. These are some of the most controversial verses in Genesis chapter 1. And the reason why we say that they're controversial, because we've got a whole manner of doctrine built around these scriptures. And so Malak and I, when I first came into the truth and I started trying to figure out the Sabbath days, and Joseph was a big part of me figuring out stuff as far as the Sabbath was concerned. But then when I met Malak, I had a couple of questions, and Malak was like, "When have you been keeping the Sabbath?" And I was like, "On Friday through Saturday." And so then Malak drilled me. I mean, he drilled me. See, the thing I like about Malak is this: Malak doesn't cut corners. If you ask him a question and you ain't ready for the answer, that's your fault. I'm just gonna be honest with you. If you ask Malak a question and you're not ready for that answer, it's not coming with no sugar on it, no powder. It ain't coming like a beignet with powdered sugar and a side of coffee. It's coming with a brick and a boulder attached to it. And what you get is what you get. So Malak just told me, he was like, what did the scriptures tell you? And I was like, well, what does the lunar Sabbath? And he was like, go back and read. So that's Malak's thing. Go back and read and then come back to me. And by the time you read, and I tell you, a lot of people used to get jealous because Malak a lot of times wouldn't tell me to go read because I think Malak understood that he had to fast track me. to where I could teach, because he knew there was more that I had to do, where other people, he would be like, go back and read. So people would get upset and get kind of jealous. But on this, Malak wanted me to read, and then I really began to understand what the fundamental basis of the moon was and the sun was. Listen, as we go into this lesson, I want you to understand this. There is a difference between days and I want you to understand the cycle of the moon and the sun does not rule over the days. The days were established before there was a moon and a sun. Now, by saying this, I am going to bring a few points out. We're going to do this lesson. It's going to be a 2-week lesson. These verses is going to be a 2-week lesson. And the reason why they're going to be a 2-week lesson is because I'm going to do this without breaking it down into Hebrew. And next week, I'm breaking down each verse down to the Hebrew. Because I think you need to know the importance of what these verses are saying in the true language. Okay? So, I want to kill the narrative of the lunar Sabbath. The Father has been on me about this, and it has been heavy on my heart to do. So I'm going to let you know we are going to not only debate it, we are going to put this to rest. If you are a lunar Sabbath keeper, I want you to stop and I want you to listen to the evidence that we're going to bring out in these lessons. Because what you are doing is you're mixing up two different schools of thought. First of all, there are Shabbat days, which are the days that are commemorated every seventh day. That is the Shabbat. Then there are Shabbat days. Shabbat days are high holy days. These high holy days are marked by the lunar cycle. Even though they both have the word Shabbat in it, they are different. One day is made for man, and the other days are feasts of remembrance. Let me say this again. One day is a feast of remembrance. So when you think about Passover, when you think about unleavened bread, the Feast of Weeks, when you think about tabernacles, when you think about trumpets, these feast days are determined by the lunar cycle. But Shabbat in itself is not determined by the lunar cycle. The Shabbat in itself is determined by the word of Yah. And so if the seventh day is the seventh day, regardless what you think, it does not have anything to do with the cycle of the moon. And another thing, the Gregorian calendar, if you do your research behind the Gregorian calendar, the reason why the Gregorian calendar was fitted, the Romans and the Roman papacy, were having problems with the Jews because the Jews would close down shop on the Shabbat. Listen closely. And they would not work from sunset on Friday, or what they would call Friday, on the sixth day, sunset on the Sabbath, sunset starting the Sabbath to sunset. And they were wondering why. At that time, they had an 8 day. Excuse me. At that moment, they had an 8 day week. They adjusted their days to fit with our schedule. Once again, they adjusted their days to fit with our schedule. They broke their week down from an 8 day week to a 7 day week. And the only thing they did different was they stopped on Sunday and we stopped on our Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped on the 7th day of the week and they stopped on the 1st day of the week. It's right there in black and white. Do your research. Now, let's go into Genesis chapter. I don't know if I don't know if Joseph's still on. Joseph, are you still in the room? I'm trying to figure out how close he is. Malak, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody real quick.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. Today, um, it's a blessing again to be with you, brothers and sisters, and fellow the fellow panel on this Shabbat, the day that the Most High set apart for us to not only to worship Him, but to rest, to give us rest from our labor, to give us rest from the stresses of the world, where we can bring our grievances to Him in Hamashiach's name. It's been a challenge. It's always a challenge being on the road. I want to also apologize to the brethren because again, I had some more information to give to Brother Yemi, but being that I've been on the road dealing with some issues, I did not give him to him, I'm always have his back, so I still got it, but I wanted to give some more stuff to him, but. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful day out today. Again, I'm grateful for the health, physical health, mental health, health of mind, body, and soul. Again, I'm fortunate because being around these two brothers, and listen to their experience with the loss of their loved ones when it comes down to their parents. I'm very, very fortunate to have mine, and they have taught me so much in regards of not taking that for granted. Because again, we get to the point where, you know, even though we don't think that we're taking things for granted, we do just by our mere actions. So I want to thank Brother Yemi and Brother Yosef for being in my ear and telling me, sharing with their experiences and their stories dealing with whether it's a loss of a mother or father or even both parents, and how they're coping with this situation. Because like the old saying, you never know when your time is going to be on the front row. So uh, I'm humbled by the fact that these brothers are strong, and they're not only in their faith, but strong in character and moral principles because of what the Most High given to them as far as their walk. But just want to share that with you guys. Is grateful to be here on this Sabbath, and go through this lesson, uh, go through this teaching, and all praise the Most High for allowing me to be a part of this.
Hello, Kai. Okay, I want to say hello to everybody that just came to the room. I'm not ignoring you. If I don't say hello, don't get offended. Don't run away. When I get a chance to breathe and able to talk, we will say hello. We do acknowledge your presence. We thank you for coming to spend time with us here at the Art DFW. Um, let's go into the Sabbath. What is the Sabbath day?
Right fast, brother Yosef just said he's 10 minutes away. So we continue. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What is the Sabbath day? The Sabbath day is the day. Okay, what is the fourth day? So the fourth day is the day that the sun, the moon, and the stars, or the celestial bodies, were created. The reason why we tie those things to the Sabbath is because of doctrinal teachings and actual biblical teachings. Um, there are biblical teachings that tell Hebrews or Hebrew Israelites that we should watch the sun and the moon, or the moon, because it will lead us into feast days. Just like right now, we are on watch right now, and we're counting down from for the beginning of what we call Pesach, or what most people would call Passover. We know that once the spring equinox happens, we enter into the month of the first new moon after the spring equinox. We enter into the month of Abib. Abib is the first month of the year for us, not December. I mean, not January, but Abib. So we know that biblically teaching that the new year always starts in the spring, okay, with the newness of life, or the newness of the sprouting or the upcoming of vegetation begins the new year, because the Father worked on principles of gardening. As the year progressed, things would grow. They would be harvested. You plant, they would grow and be harvested. You would clean out. You would prepare the soil for the next year. Things would die. Things would sit and rest. The soil would be ready, and then the next year things would begin to grow again, and that's how we marked our years. We did by That's how farmers worked. That's how the Father worked. Remember in John chapter 15, the Messiah said, I am the true vine and my Father is the husbandman. Well, what he meant is that I am the vine and my Father is the gardener. And so we know that the Father operates off the principles of agriculture. And every farmer understands that the new year is brought in by the crops. So this is how the Father thinks. Not by, we don't bring in a new year in the middle of winter. That's just not how it functions. That's not functional, nor does it make sense. Okay, so, and I'm going to show you biblically, I'm going to give you biblical proof that the new year started in the spring. This is the first revelation I ever got, and that's why I'm tickled to bring it out, because I was sitting on the porcelain throne this morning, and the Father brought this to my memory. Brought this to me so I can bring it out to you. How do I know that the new year began in the spring? How do I know that the first moon was a new moon? I'm going to show you. Go to Genesis chapter, let's say chapter 11. Verse 11. Chapter 1, verse 11, Malak.
Genesis chapter 1. 11. And Elohim said, let the arits bring forth grass, the herbs yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit of his kind, whose seed in itself upon the arits, and it was so. And the arits brought forth grass and herbs yielding seed after his kind, and the trees yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself. And Elohim saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the third day.
Okay, so once again, this is the beginning of spring.
Mhm.
Because the herbs, the grass, and the fruit trees were bringing forth.
Mhm.
When you bring forth fruit of its own kind, it's bringing forth itself in the spring. It's
Mhm.
bringing forth, bringing forth. It's
Mhm.
bringing out of itself, bringing forth fruit after its own kind.
Mhm.
This is that you know that when he started planting, he was marking the first part of the year.
Mhm.
So to let you know he works in cycles and he works in a secular motion, everything works in a cycle. You should know now that the first moon that showed up had to have been what kind of moon?
Mhm.
A new moon.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So if day 4, a new moon was the first moon to show up, I'm not going to say nothing. So the Father tells us we should always celebrate the new moon. But Sabbath keepers say, okay, so we celebrate the new moon, then 7 days later, on the 8th moon day, then we celebrate Sabbath. But that's not true because in the scripture, the new moon came on the 4th day,
Mhm.
and then 3 days after that, there was a Shabbat.
Watch this out. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
No, I want you to say something.
Well, because we when we go to the next verse, it's gonna edify what you just said.
Well,
It's gonna completely edify that what you just
so
said.
so let's go to Genesis chapter 14. I mean Genesis chapter 1 verse 14.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. And Elohim said, let there be light in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now, what most people don't realize is when we go to the word seasons, which is Hebrews 41:50, that word is moetz. So he's telling them let the new moon be for a moet, for a appointed time. See, he already started time in Elohim on the beginning of creation. He started it, but this moon is for a set apart time. He already started time in the beginning, but this is for the high holy feast days. it's
Facts.
right there. It's right there in front of him.
So I want you to look at this. When the Father said, let there be, time began.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So in Genesis, look who shows up. Welcome into the party all the way from parts unknown. Mother, mother. Okay, so when we that are schooled in biblical understanding, we realize that when the Father said, "Let there be," time began, because time does not exist. The Father operates outside of time and space
Yeah.
and matter. None of those principles affect him in
Right.
any. This is something that people need to realize. Time, space, and matter do not affect him,
No.
but he affects it.
Yeah.
All of that exists in him, but it does not affect him.
Exactly. Don't control it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
He controls it. It does
Right.
not control him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he says day one,
Mm-hmm. Is
he
they want.
don't care if there's a sun or a moon. There's a
Exactly.
day one.
Yeah.
Day one, eh? Exactly.
When
It is.
he
It is.
says day two, when he says and there was an even and a morning of the first day, see, he controlled the. Okay, so when you got a light in your living room and it's got a dimmer switch, y'all controlled the dimmer switch even if there wasn't a light in the room. Boy, I'm about to shout. That right would
Mm-hmm.
preach. Now,
Right.
I ain't been in church a long time, but that right there would preach. He controls the dimmer switch even if there ain't
Right.
a light on in the light.
That's right. See, what we have to understand is this: the purpose for the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay, from a time perspective, it was to get us on board of what his purpose was. But he was already laying his purpose out before he even said that.
Mm-hmm.
So once he put them in order, then he can create us where we can be on the same page with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because outside of that, we wouldn't even know what to do. We wouldn't even know what to do with outside of that. So the stars, the sun, and the moon is to get us on board with his plan is.
Mm-hmm.
What his plan is. You know what I'm saying?
Just imagine. You remember when we were kids and we would go out into the woods and we read them dang books? We would lay out breadcrumbs so we could find our way back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the sun and the moon are. There are our breadcrumbs so we can actually find our way to him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't miss where he is in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
So if he tells us to meet him at the new moons, we know that when that first glimmer of light hits the moon, that he's there also.
Mm-hmm.
We know that if the feast day starts on a full moon, we know that he's there on
Mm-hmm.
that full moon.
Right. No
We
matter
got
where you
3 days.
at.
No matter where we're at, we can travel those 3 days to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see, we can follow the breadcrumbs. He'll never leave you nor forsake you because his signs are in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Also,
but go ahead,
also look at it like this here. Think about it like this here. Adversary has beat our language, our culture, our custom has beat that out of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He can't
Mm-hmm.
change that moon. He can't change that sun.
Can't
He
touch it.
can't change the stars. He can't change none of that. So guess what? Now you have something to bring you back to what the Father intended. You know what I'm saying? Because even though we have the weekly Sabbath, like Yemi was saying earlier, we have the weekly Sabbath. But guess what? If you miss that appointed time, if you miss those high holy days, that's a whole different game changer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different game changer. Because if you look at it, all your feast days are surrounded about this.
Mm-hmm.
All your feast days. If you miss the weekly Sabbath, okay, Most High forbid that you work or you miss a weekly Sabbath. Most High forbid that. We're not putting that out there. What we're saying is this: no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
you have a sign to show you when the Most High wants to reach. He wanna meet with you. You have a sign that nobody can change. Nobody can move that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
If you just look up long enough,
Right. Right.
do I look tired? Ooh, I look tired today. I'm gonna blame this on Sister April. She had me all day watching Coming to America. Yeah, so there are times in seasons for our purposes to meet with Him, and and that's why He made it very clear in Genesis in the first chapter of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling y'all, this first chapter of the book it's laid out right there for you for a reason. Because if you go too far, if you forget the first chapter of the book, you done missed out on. You might as well not go no further than this. That's why I be telling people, man, especially them Nicolaitans, man, you done gave up. She said, "I plead the fifth." These Nicolaitans, man, they miss out on the fullness of the Father
Mm-hmm.
because all they want to do is what they want to do. They don't want to pay attention to His word, or because they feel like it's too much work involved in worship.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you know that worship is not falling on your face and rolling around and spitting and slobbering and sweating and having little sauce in the circle in the church, screaming and having people carry you out and throwing sheets on top of you? That ain't worship. That's a spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Worship is being obedient to the word of the Father and
Mm-hmm.
being where He told you to be when He told you to be there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's worship. You want to worship somebody, be obedient to them. My wife showed me the highest form of worship when baby, do you mind fixing me something to eat? It's respect and it's honoring the
Mm-hmm.
person that you love. Even when she calls me Elohim, it's a sign of worship. It's not worship, but honor and respect to what I ask.
Mm-hmm.
And the Father expects the same thing from us. He calls it worship and admiration to Him when we are obedient to Him and we do that which He asks to do.
Mm-hmm.
So using the sun, the moon, and the stars as a tool to point us in His direction
Mm-hmm.
brings us closer to Him, not just for one day in the year, but
Mm-hmm.
for these feast days. Because if you mess up on one day, it'll throw you off for all the other days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So where we at? Genesis? Anybody got anything? Any? You got anything?
No, no, no,
Uh,
no, no.
You got anything yourself?
yeah. First of all, shalom, family. It's good to be with you. Apologize. Just glad to be here with you. Um, Again, a couple of things to remember. Just the overview from what we gave last week. As we're reading the book and we're beginning to understand these things again, we're dealing with the Hava, that the Father was created the earth, the moon, the stars, the universe. Basically, what he's teaching us out of the scriptures. All of these things were done for our sake. And we're not really supposed to be subject to them, to creation. Creation should be subject to us. And creation was the sun, moon, and stars. Again, as Morey Yemi and Brother Malak were saying, that he's outside. He transcends time and space. And so when we think of him, which we have to unlearn the ways of the heathen, kind of, we try to put the Most High in a box of how he does things, how he did things in his nature. We, being in our human nature and in that corrupt nature of the Gentiles, of the heathens, we characterize Yah and what Yah has done. We give it a Western or a heathenistic characterization. Just remember that everything that he's done it for our sake, in terms of what the earth and the moon and the stars and the universe is concerned. He set those things in place for our sake. And just getting ready to enjoy this teaching that the Father is giving Morey Yemi this afternoon.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's go to 15 now, verse 15.
You want me? You got yours?
We're 1 and 15.
Yes, sir.
1 and 15.
Okay. Well, 14.
We already read 14.
Okay. Y'all forgive me. 15. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens, to give light on the earth, and it was so.
So as he put the sun and the moon, he wanted to give us light from the heavens onto the earth, so that we would never be in the dark. This has spiritual connotation and a physical connotation. Because he never wanted us to be in a place where we could not see his works, to see his wonders, or that we are in a position to where we could not be safe. The moon is very important for us because it guides us to his feast days. But the sun is very important for us because it brings light, and it brings the sun has an effect on Hebrews, and I'm gonna throw myself into this mix. So yesterday, I go to the hospital where I work, and I had my appointment, my yearly checkup, and so my doctor was like, "Mr. Grant, your cholesterol is a little bit high. It's not as high as it was. A1C is where it normally is." But since you're having this surgery done, I believe it's going to get better. But then she said, "But your vitamin D sucks." And so your vitamin D is activated by light. One thing about Black people, and this makes sense, the more that we have become in bodies, or people that spend time in the house, it has affected bodies because we are made from the soil. We need the light of the sun to flourish. 20 minutes a day sunlight, what do I say? It energizes our bodies and causes us, it just sets our bodies alive. It gives us light. It's like a plant needing the sun for photosynthesis. So I started thinking, I just need to go outside and stand outside and play with the dogs for like 10 or 15 minutes a day, just so I can get that sunlight that I'm craving. A word. And it is just one of those things that I'm going to have to add to my regimen so that I can get better, so I can feel better, so I can be better. Because it's only the adversary, and it's only it's only people that oppress us that wants us to stay out of the sun.
Right. That's right.
Don't put sunscreen on. You don't need it. You need this sunlight because the sun was made for you. The Father didn't put nothing up in us to harm us.
That's right. That's right.
We don't get skin cancer like they get skin cancer. And it really wasn't introduced to us until we started creating with those mutants. I had a conversation with a sister, with a young lady this week, and I was telling them, I was like, listen, the further away from Africa, the more mutated genes you're going to run into because Japheth was very disobedient and started laying down with anything. He was creating children with Neanderthals, and Neanderthals were nothing but monkeys. Henceforth, the reason why y'all got fur and y'all call it hair, and the reason why y'all have these birth defects and all these dang recessive gene issues, muscular dystrophy, and all this other stuff, those come from you're a hybrid. You're a human hybrid. Understand this, and I'm not trying to bash on anybody, but the people that oppress us only make up 10% of the Earth's population. There is no reason that they should have as much dominance as they do. The only reason why they have as much dominance as they do is because other people that slept the other side of Japheth's family that slept with the Javidians messed around and made up gunpowder. Gunpowder was the only reason why these folks have the dominance that they do.
That's right. That's right.
And their bloodthirsty nature because of breeding with animals, with Neanderthals and Dravidians. They they're just like they are. The only humans on this planet are us. Those
matter of fact, the term,
go ahead.
matter of fact, the term human already states that you have hue. You know, to add to what you're saying about the vitamin D, it's already been put out there that when it comes to our people, the reason why we suffer with cancer is because of the fact that we don't get enough vitamin D. We don't get enough sunlight. So when our people go get cancer treatments as for this radiation, what happens is we're over poisoning our body. So the sun gives us the natural rays that we need. Now, chemotherapy tend to work better on Caucasians because they're not only genetically recessive, but they by not having pigment in their skin, they absorb those UV rays without being over poisoned like we would. But
that's a fact. That's one of the weirdest things about science. I was telling a friend that science, don't shun science because science will tell you the truth. The thing is they don't teach you the full parts of science because it will expose who they truly are. All you got to do is dissect it a little bit and you'll get the true understanding of the science behind the nature. And the fact of the matter is, recessive genes can never make dominance. This is why, and the reason why It's really
You drop off?
no, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Somebody's at my door. That's why.
Okay.
The reason why this is very important for us to know is because um, I'm starting to learn a little bit more because of this breeding that I'm doing with my dogs. Because there's certain traits that I'm trying to bring in these dogs, and I'm starting to realize what is recessive and what is dominant. And it's the same in people. If you're looking to get a dominant trait, you breed. Oh wow. Okay, go ahead and put that. Go ahead and put that over there. Thank you. I sent us some grieving flowers. So yeah. So when you mix recessive and dominant traits, the dominant is always going to stand out. So, like if you got somebody that has bow legs, you don't want to breed two people that got bow legs because the bow legs are gonna come out. Even though y'all think that's cute, that is not cute. That's a recessive. That is not a good thing. And mess around and be like me having to get knee surgeries because you got bow legs. So, why are we on this? But
You was talking about the sun, man. That's why it was about the sun.
but this is why we have to pay a lot of attention to what we are doing as far as us people, and why the sun plays a big role in our evolutionary strength, because the sun energizes us. The sun keeps us balanced and it keeps us strong. And we gotta quit running from our nature and who we are, and and keep ourselves healthy. And that's why the Father put the sun there to help us grow like the plants. Yes, Lily, I know the camera's off. To keep us growing and to keep us flourishing. She gonna ask me if I know the camera's off. I'm sitting here looking at the phone. I know the camera's off. I'm hiding what I'm doing. Okay, let's go to verse 16.
And Yah made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also.
Okay, so they rule the day and the night, but they do not control the cycle. Understand this, that the Father made the cycle before he put the lights there. So there was a day and an even before there were anything set to rule over them. This is something that the lunar cycle people got to understand, that there would still be a lunar cycle even if there wasn't a moon. There would be an even if there wasn't a moon. Put the moon there so we could see where the beginning of each month was. He put the moon there so we could see the middle of each month and the end of each month. It's all to balance out what's going on. He put the sun there so we could see, so we could get warm. And the distance of the moon, I mean the sun, will help us know what season that we're in. The closer the sun is to us, the warmer it is. It tells us what seasons we're in. All right, go to the next verse.
17. And Yah and Elohim excuse me, and Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth.
That's their purpose, to give light upon the earth and to mark out seasons and holidays or wets. All right, go to the next verse.
Can
And to
Go ahead, Malak.
just to simplify first, do me a favor, brother Joseph. Read verse 14 again. I want to simplify this for the people and show them something right there.
14,
Yes, sir.
and Elohim said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years."
Okay. When we look at time, we have a day period, we have a month period, and we have a year period.
Mhm.
That's exactly what Brother Yemi is saying. The celestial body, the stars, will tell you what time of year it is. The moon will tell you what time of month it is. The sun will tell you what time of day it is. Just that simple.
That's a
Just very
fact.
simple, folks. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, Aki.
And to verse 18, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good.
Mhm.
And the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
All right, so at the end of this, he looked at his creation. He said it was functional, which is told once again, and that was the evening and the morning of that day. Let's go into the lunar Sabbath. I'm going to let Malak take over for a little bit. I'm going to black out my screen. And Malak, I want you to break this thing down. You and Yosef, okay?
Put me on the spot. I'm just messing with you. Okay. Dealing with the lunar Sabbath. Do me a favor, I know we just read it, but go to verse 14 again. Read verse 14 again.
Okay. Verse 14 says, and Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
Okay. Now, and I said this earlier, dealing with the word season is Hebrews 41:50, and that's the word moed, which is appointed sign, appointed place, appointed meeting, set feast, appointed seasons. So let's do this. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23, and we're gonna lay out this foundation. We're gonna lay down this foundation right fast to give the people a little bit understanding of the purpose of the new moon, and then we're gonna get a few things dealing with the new moon, right? So let's go to Leviticus chapter 23 and start off at verse 1, Hawk.
Verse 1.
Yes, sir.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
Okay, stop right there. Okay, in verse 2, he says, speak unto the children of Yasha'Allah, or Israel, and say unto them concerning my feast. That word is Hebrews 41:50. Again, he was setting the feast days in the beginning. This is what the season is. The season is not only the time of year, but it's also his appointed time, his moed. It's Hebrews again, Hebrews 50, Hebrews 41:50, right? Concerning the feast of Elohim, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. These are my feasts. Okay, I'll go ahead. You go there. Go ahead.
Okay. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahuwah in all your dwellings.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Again, like Brother Yemi said, so we see even in verse 6, he says, 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh. So again, he's telling you the feast days operate outside of the 7-day Sabbath. Has nothing to do with the moon. Has nothing to do with the moon. 6 days thou shalt work, and on the seventh you shall rest. If you don't mind, let's go edify that. Let's go back to Genesis, a better sheet. Let's go back to better sheet. And we'll get chapter 2. And let me look at it right fast. Chapter 2, give me verse 1. Chapter 2, start at verse 1 and verse 2.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
Okay, so the host of heaven, the heavenly bodies that the Most High created, once he finished them, he rested on the seventh day. So if you're going by the lunar Sabbath, what's going to happen is you're going to break that, because he consistently say on the seventh day. The lunar Sabbath may fall on the 13th day. It may fall on the 8th day. It may fall on the 9th day. It may fall on the first day. So you're breaking that. These two Sabbaths or these 2 days are separate. They're separate from each other. The seventh day doesn't change, and that in that lunar Sabbath dealing with the lunar cycle dealing with the high holy days are dictated by the moon. It's not dictated by what is the first day, the 8th day. Well, technically,
Word.
We say
It's not dictated by the word of the Father.
there you go, there you go, there you go. So now let's do this here. Let's go to 1 Samuel. Let's go to 1 Samuel. Give me a second. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 20. 1 Samuel chapter 20. Let's deal with this moon. Let's deal with 1 Samuel chapter 20. And you can start off at verse 1. Start off so we can get the context of this. Let's just start off at verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 1, it says, And David fled from Naoth in Ramah, and came and said before Jonathan, What have I done? What is mine iniquity? And what is my sin before thy father, that he seeketh my life? And he said unto him, Elohim forbid, thou shalt not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, either great or small, but that he will show it to me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. And David sware moreover and said, Thy father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in thine eyes. And he said, Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as Yahuwah liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. Then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do it for thee. And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat. But let me go that I may hide myself in the field until the third day at even.
Okay. So if you saying that the lunar Sabbath starts the new month, from that perspective, we have a problem here. Read verse 5 and 6 again.
And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat. But let me go that I may hide myself in the field unto the third day at even.
Okay.
If thy
Go ahead, finish reading.
If thy father at all miss me, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me that he might run to Bethlehem, his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice there for all the family.
Oh, what is that yearly sacrifice? What is that yearly sacrifice? It's Pesach. So here it is. If we're going to go by the lunar Sabbath doctrine, what you're doing is you're gonna mess up your sacrifice, because the Pesach. When let's do this. Let's go back to Leviticus chapter 5. I hope everybody is getting where I'm going at with this here, because I know Yumi got it. let's go back to Leviticus chapter 23, right? Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to. We stopped at what we stopped at, brother Yosef? Stop at 4 or 3?
Yeah.
We stopped at 3. Stop at 3, right? Okay. So start up at 3 and read on down.
Leviticus 23 and 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahuwah in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of Yahuwah, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahuwah's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahuwah. 7 days. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
So we see what's happening here. What's happening is this. When we look at Pesach, the full moon is when we look at the full moon is dictating the high holy day. It's not dictating your weekly Sabbath. So that's what we look at when we read in 1 Samuel. It's saying the same thing. If you're changing the lunar Sabbath into your weekly Sabbath, you're always going off. You know what I'm saying? You're going to always be off, because the lunar Sabbath is not dictated by the weekly Sabbath. The lunar Sabbath is just for the appointed times for your feast days.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You know. So let's do this here. Let's jump over to, and I got a few notes. Give me a second. Family. Let me go through my notes. Let's go to let's go to the book of Numbers. Let's go to the book of Numbers chapter 15. Book of Numbers chapter 15. And hold on, give me a second. And let's start off at verse 30. Let's start off at verse. Let's start off at verse 30. That's fine. Let's start off at verse 30.
Verse 30, Numbers 15, verse 30. But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth Yahweh.
I'll tell you what. Do me a favor. Let's jump up a couple of verses. Let's start off at 25.
Numbers 15 and verse 25. And the priest shall make an atonement for all the congregation of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them, for it is ignorance. And they shall bring their offering, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yahweh, and their sin offering before Yahweh for their ignorance. And it shall be forgiven all the congregation of the children of Israel, and the stranger that sojourneth among them, seeing all the people we were in ignorance. And if any soul sin through ignorance, then he shall bring a she-goat of the first year for a sin offering.
Now, of the first year. So again, this is all dealing with Pesach. All this is dealing with Pesach, right? Go ahead.
And the priest shall make an atonement for the soul that sinneth ignorantly, when he sinneth by ignorance before Yahweh, to make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. Ye shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them. But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth Yahweh, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Because he had despised the word of Yahweh and had broken his commandment, that soul shall utterly be cut off. His iniquity shall be upon him. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron and unto all the congregation. And they put him in ward, because it was not declared what should be done to him. And Yahweh said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones outside the camp.
Okay, stop right there. That's fine right there. I just want to get to the purpose of the Sabbath. Now, dealing with the Sabbath, the weekly Sabbath is a law that as we're worshiping the Most High, it's one of those things that we convene with the Most High weekly. The high holy days are those times when we get to the Most High, when he really want to give us that fresh start, give us that new start, if that makes sense, a new beginning, you know. So during the weekly Sabbath, we will worship, but when it's time to make the atonement for our iniquities, we would have the high holy Sabbaths and those appointed times. All right. So now let's go back to Leviticus chapter 23, and let's go back to 23 and 23 this time. Yimmy, do me a favor. Find me the scripture on not worshiping the moon. I can't
Leviticus 23 and 23.
Yeah. Leviticus 23.
And Yahweh said unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. And Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement.
Mm-hmm.
It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
Okay, stop right there for a second. Stop right there for a second. Now, you see how consistent the Most High is. He keep dealing with the same numbers, 7. He keep dealing with the same number. So what happens is, if we go into a lunar Sabbath and what happens is you are changing that number. It falls on the 9th. It can fall on the 9th day. It can fall on the 10th day. It can fall on the. And the Most High is saying no. He wants to be consistent with this. The weekly Sabbath and the high holy Sabbaths are a mirror of one another, but the high holy Sabbath is the Sabbath when he coming and sit down face to face with us. Y'all kind of follow? You kind of follow me? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said the weekly Sabbath and the high holy Sabbaths are, in essence, they're all a mirror of one another, but the Most High is consistent. He have the weekly Sabbath, and then we have the high holy days. Pesach is the beginning of a Sabbath. Then we have the 7th Sabbath. So he's consistent with those numbers. If you go by the lunar Sabbath, it may fall on the 9th day. It may fall on the 20th day. It might fall on the 1st day. And that's not consistent. That would throw us off. Which go back to what Yemi was saying.
And also you have to look at it in this perspective. If you look at what you're sacrificing, these animals are thrown into breeding cycles according to the cycle.
That's right. That's right.
So when the new year starts off, and the fruit and the vegetables and are starting to bud, it throws these animals into breeding cycles, and so this is when they start to give off their offspring. I just wanted to throw this out because what we're starting to run into in these camps, and with the logic about a lunar Sabbath, is that you get into moon worship, and that's not what he wanted.
That's why I want you to go there. Yeah, that's why I want you to go there.
I can't find that scripture because I don't have a tablet on me, and I'm talking on the phone. I mean, I'm using the phone as my thingamadoodle. So,
okay.
But when you run into moon worship, wherein the cycles of the moon are just like tabs in a book. They're there to mark a place.
Yeah. Give me a sec. I tell you what, I kind of got what I wanted, but and I really didn't. I don't want to throw too deep with the people on it because again, when we look at this, the reason why there's so much confusion is because, and we got to really go back to the beginning. Yeah, what I want to do is, I think April put that in there. What that is, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19. Thank you, April. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. Read that, brother, Joseph.
I got a rib, boy.
What's that?
I got me a rib, boy.
she put it right there. Thank you, sister.
Deuteronomy 4:19.
Yeah. Deuteronomy 19 and it's
4:19.
4:19.
Deuteronomy 4:19. And take heed lest ye lift your eyes to heaven, and when you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the hosts of heaven you feel driven to worship them and serve them, which Yahweh your Elohim has given to all the peoples under the whole heaven as a heritage.
Mm-hmm.
But Yahweh has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Egypt, to be his people, an inheritance as you are this day.
Okay. All right. Now, like I was saying before, what I want to do is, Jimmy, if you don't mind, I ain't gonna be the because I'm kind of like unprepared for this perspective to go this, but I think it's gonna really help the people. Is we need to go back, like you said, we're in Genesis, and we need to go back to the fundamentals. So I'm gonna lay down that basis where we can. So when we go at the lunar Sabbath, it's going to really. I'm gonna be the bit to really pull it apart like I want. So what I want to do is say.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is let me lay down this foundation first. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back next week, and I'm gonna wait. When I break all this down, it's really going to be so simple for the people that it won't be no more confusion. I promise you that. So let's do this. Let's go to Genesis 1. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1, and I'm gonna show y'all why I gotta go here. And it's gonna make sense when you see it. Let's go to Genesis 1. And start off at creation. 1 and 1. 1 and 1.
In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters.
Mm-hmm.
And Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness.
Stop right there. Stop right there. This goes back to what Yimi said. The Most High operates outside of time that we understand. So when he divided, he's talking about not. And when we talk about light, he's talking about from a spiritual sense. He's talking about the word. He divided the good from the bad. He's beginning to do his work, right? He's beginning to do his work. Now, go ahead and finish reading out.
Verse 5, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Stop right there again. That word for light is Hebrews 2:16, right? And it says light of day, light of heavenly luminous, okay, or like a map, right? And that word is or, right? Now, when we go to day, this makes sense. When we go to the word day, it's Hebrews 31:17, and it says yom. The problem where our people, where we get off at, is when we begin to worship on the Sabbath or the seventh day, from evening to morning. The evening was the preparation. It was not the day, it was the preparation. Yom is day, if that makes sense. So what's happening is you have a full cycle of time, if that makes sense. Let's edify that. Let's go to and I know you know where it's at, Brother Joseph. I'm gonna put you on the spot. What the Messiah says there 12 days and there's 12 hours in a day. What's that? You remember that?
Are there not 12 hours in a day?
Yeah, or they're not 12 hours in a day.
It is.
Is that John 11? John 11.
Yes.
Go to John 11.
11 and 9.
Okay, read that for me.
And Yeshua answered, Gospel of John chapter 11, verse 9. Yeshua answered, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not,
Mm-hmm.
because he seeth the light of this world.
Mm-hmm.
But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, in this Western society, the way the Hebrew mindset worked outside of this Western society is this. The Hebrew mindset was they work during the day. In the Western mindset, they don't operate like that. They work at night, day, middle. They call, the matter of fact, they call 12 o'clock midnight. How do you start your day in the middle of the night? How do you start your day in the middle of the night? So what's happening is we have been conditioned to operate outside what the Most High created naturally. There's 12 hours in a day and there's 12 hours in a night. But in a completion of a cycle of time, there's 24 hours. And that's what the Most High was saying is in the evening and morning was the first day. There's a completion of a cycle of time. But he divided the day from the night. And this is what Yeshua is saying. He divided, there's 12 hours in a day. So during that 12-hour period, in the Hebrew mindset, they would work. During the evening, they would begin to rest. It didn't start that day. They started their process of resting, so they would have a complete cycle of time where they would have a complete 24 hours of rest. They would rest from from sunset, like Gimme said, from sunset Friday to sunset Saturday. If that makes sense. If that makes sense to everybody, put a 1 in the chat. That makes sense. Put a 1 in the chat.
You mind if I read something real quick?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You made reference to it earlier. It's the Hebrew word, the moed, the 4150 that you were talking about.
Yes.
And it speaks in terms of an appointment,
Right.
a fixed time or a season, specifically a festival,
yes,
or an assembly.
Yeah.
And so from the perspective of who we are, as we are we are the children of Israel, but then even in a greater sense, we are the apple or the pupil of his eye. We are the his special treasure. And Israel is known as the bride of Yah. And he set these appointments, these dates for us to meet with him. He set the we're in creation now, but he set those he set those things in order for us to be able to keep the appointments or keep the date. The dates that we were to meet with him as a nation.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And they were for our sake. They weren't what he needed to keep time. They were for our sake, to keep track of the seasons, to keep track of the times, to keep track of our appointments with him, to meet with him, to commune with him, to rest with him.
Yes.
He rested.
Yes.
So on his rest day, he wants us to rest with him.
Come on with it. There you go.
Just like Murray, he playing around, but last night they were Netflix and chill, right?
That's right.
So he and Sister April, they're Netflix and chill. So that Shabbat and those feast days, they're like Netflix and chill with the Most High.
That's right. That's
But
right.
what happened to us is we got caught up in this Gregorian and Julian calendar. We keep missing.
That's
We
right.
kept missing our date.
Right. That's
So
right.
just
That's right.
say for instance, Sister April says, "Okay, we gonna Netflix and chill tonight."
That's right.
And Morgan said, "Well, baby, I would really love to do that, but it's somebody else I gotta meet
Yeah.
tonight."
I'm gonna be at your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
See.
that might be acceptable one time, but say he kept doing it.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So she said, "Okay, baby, I ain't feeling you, but okay, I'm gonna let you slide this time." And then she make another Netflix and chill for
Mhm.
tonight.
That's right.
And he said, "No, baby, I really hate that I'm gonna miss it, but yeah, y'all get the picture."
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And so
Exactly.
the reason he set those things he set the greater light and lesser lights was times, signs, and seasons, so that we would make our moed, our dates, our appointments with him.
Oh, it's like you said, we got a date with the Most High
Yeah.
because if you notice, he worked during the day. He didn't work at night. He didn't work at night. He worked during the day. And in our natural order, that's the way we're supposed to live. We're supposed to be resting at night. It didn't start our day.
Mm-hmm.
It just means it ended our day of work.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So when we think about this, and let's go back to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5. The word for night is what? It's Hebrews 39:15. It's Layla. It's Layla. You know what I'm saying? It's night. So what's happening is we have to understand that every aspect of time is for a purpose. Every aspect of time is for a purpose. We supposed to work during the day. We rest at night. So the Father is giving us a 24-hour cycle where when we rest, then the next day, which would be the Shabbat, we don't work because we work 6 prior days. And then when that night comes, then we would rest again, and then we would start work the next day, which would be the first day.
Mm-hmm.
But once we begin to understand the cycle of time, from that standpoint, then we can go to the lunar aspect of it. Because the lunar aspect of it is only for to govern the graded the monthly the month, and also the appointed feast times. So we would know the changing of the month. The lunar cycle would only govern the changing of the month. It would not start the Sabbath. It would start the high. It would govern the feast day, but it would not govern. Come on, help me out with Jimmy, because I know you know the word I'm looking for.
It's the introduction to the day. It is the introduction. It's the preparatory portion of the day. It's kind of like when when I was in the Army, we would say company. It's to get your attention. So that evening, thanks, Big Simple. The company would get your attention, but the attention was the command. So
That's right.
the Sabbath day is actually the Sabbath day. So the night when the sun sets, that gets your attention. The sun's going down. But
sun's going down.
So get your stuff together.
That's right. There you go. You prepared. There you go. This is why when the Messiah was crucified, they had the preparation night.
Right.
They prepared him. You know what I'm saying? Before the festival. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
They had to prepare him before the festival. Okay. So let's do this here. Dealing with that, because like I say, I want to lay down this foundation, and then Next week, we're going to go into the lunar cycle, and with the purpose of it, and also showing that the lunar cycle is not, it doesn't dictate the weekly Sabbath. What Yemi is teaching us. It doesn't dictate the weekly Sabbath. The weekly Sabbath is already dictated from when the Most High said in the beginning. Done. So let's do this here. Let's continue to deal with the beginning of the day. Okay. So let's go to let's jump down, since we in Genesis chapter 1. Let's jump down to 16 and 17.
Genesis 1 and 16. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light.
Stop right there for a second. I'm sorry about that. He made two great lights. The greater light, which one is greater, the sun or the moon?
The sun.
So the sun, if the sun is greater, he says the greater light to rule the day. And the lesser light is what?
To rule the evening.
To rule the evening. You feel me? So the whole point is, the reason why our people are off with that lunar cycle, because they can't even get the day straight. We have to get the day straight. Once we get the day straight, then we can begin to understand the purpose of the moon, because without that sunlight, without the sun, we could not get the reflection of the sun on the moon. So we have to understand that the sun, if it's not doing its job, how can the moon do its job? If that makes sense. If the sun is not allowed to do its job, how can the moon do its job? Because you only see the sliver of the light because of what?
The sun.
Because of the sun. So we got to get the sun in order. The sun has to be in order before we can even get to the moon. I mean, if that makes sense, put a 1 in the chat room. If that makes sense, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. So what did we stop at out? You didn't read 17 now.
17.
16. Go ahead and finish reading 16, 17, and 18. My bad. 17.
Yeah.
Start at 19. Stop at 19.
Made the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good.
Hold on, read that one more time. Read verse 18 again.
And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness.
To divide the light from the darkness. If you don't separate them, and let them operate in their function, we're going to be off course. This is what he's saying. You have to divide them. If you don't divide them, if you're starting your day at night, you're already off order.
So let me touch base with you real quick.
Yes, sir.
So think about this. Night always represents chaos.
There you go. Come on. There you go. Come on with it. I knew you know what I'm trying to get to.
Or represents order.
That's right.
The light always represents order.
That's right.
And so when you have to separate those things, the light of the sun shines bright on the light or on order. So it's sort of like this. You try to clean up a room in the dark, you ain't really cleaning up no room. You just making a bigger mess.
You can't see nothing. Come on with it.
You need a light.
Come on with it.
And so you can't clean up a room with a flashlight. You need a big light.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And so the sun governs by giving light. Listen, in the beginning, there was already, he separated darkness from light.
That's
And,
right.
and in the spiritual sense, what he did was he separated chaos from dark. He
There you go.
separated light from darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now the physical, he did the spiritual on day 1. He did the physical on day 4. He
There you
placed
go.
the sun in the sky and the moon in the sky to rule over the night and day, so you could have a sun to shine over the day and a flashlight at night.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what he did. He started the spiritual
Right.
chaos on day 1, and now
Mm-hmm.
he's separating the physical chaos on day
Mm-hmm.
4.
That's right. Right. There you go. There you go. Let's
Melinda
go.
said Mark chapter 2 verses 27 and 28.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. She said that the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is Yahweh, a Lord, even to the Sabbath. There you go. Come on with that. Come on with it.
Uh-oh, you
So,
got a rib too.
you see that, huh? You see that, huh? That I'm talking about. That I'm talking about. Get on in there. Get on in there, baby. Get on in there. I love that. Let's go to Jonah. Let's go to Jonah chapter 4. Let's go to Jonah chapter 4. And when we get that, when we get to chapter 4, I'll start off at verse 5. That's start off at 5. Jonah chapter 4, verse 5. 5, 6, and 7.
Jonah chapter 4, verse 5. So Jonah went out of the city and and sat on the east side of the city, and there made him a booth and sat under it in the shadow
Mm-hmm.
till he might see what would become of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh prepared a gourd and made it to come up over Jonah, that it might be a shadow over his head, to deliver him from his grief. So Jonah was exceeding glad of the gourd. But Elohim prepared a worm when the morning rose the next
What?
day.
Read that one more again. When Elohim did what?
He prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day, and it smote the gourd that it withered.
So he prepared a worm for him when the morning rose the next day. So he's telling you right here, when is the next day?
When the
Is
sun
when the
rises.
morning, when the
Sunrise.
morning rises, when the sun rises. When the sun rises.
Even though we enter into the Sabbath, listen, and I
Come
want
on with
people
it,
to
Jimmy. Come
understand
on with
this.
it, Jimmy.
Even though we enter into the Sabbath, we recognize the Sabbath as the sun setting. The actual Sabbath day starts at sunrise. The
So it's right.
period of preparation is at sunset.
Yes.
So you get your stuff together at sunset,
There
and
you
at
come on with it. Come on with it.
sunrise, you don't work at night, no way.
Come on with it. Come on with it. Come on with it. Come on with it.
You work at day.
You work during the day.
You work your jobs at daytime. So you take a break from your manual labor, your manual tasks. These are the tasks that are servile.
That's right. That's right.
Look, you cleaning up your house after you cook a meal is not really considered servile work. I hate to tell y'all this. That's just not being nasty.
Yeah. We're gonna get on that too. We need to touch that as well. So let's go to Mark. Let's go to Mark chapter 16. Let's go to Mark chapter 16. And again, the reason why we have to build this family, because if we don't get the function, the Bible is a functioning, living book. It's natural. It has a natural order. The Western philosophy or the Western mindset has perverted us so bad that we even use terminologies like, again, midnight. So how do you start your day in the middle of a night? It's impossible, because again, we see it 12 o'clock on what that thing they just celebrated was the so-called New Year's.
Yeah.
12 o'clock on that so-called January, December 31st, when 12 o'clock hit, it was January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make no sense. You started a new year in the middle of the winter, then you started a new day.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make no sense. This book is functional. You can look at the creation of how the Most High created things, and it operates according to his design.
Mm-hmm.
We have to let what he created do its job.
Facts. Look,
it was created for a purpose.
You watch the news, the meteorologist tells you every day that sunrise comes at this time and sunset at this, because they know the actual function of the creation.
They know the actual function. What that was I told you get out? Mark chapter what?
16.
16? Okay, start off at Mark chapter 16, verse 1. Start off at verse 1. Give me 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, and 3.
And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Salome, had brought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. And they said among themselves, who shall roll us away the stone from the door of the sepulchre?
Okay. Read verse 2 again now. I know right about now it's beginning to make sense. It should be beginning to make sense right about now. Read verse 2 again.
And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun.
Whoa. Stop right there. So the scripture says the next day, the first day of the week, on the rising of the sun. But our people have the mindset that at the setting of the sun, to start the day. But we have just read 2-3 scriptures that edify that's not clear. It's clear that when the sun rises is when the day begins. We may prepare that the prior evening, but it does not start the day. It's the preparation. It's the preparation. Okay. So, hey, you want me to get a couple more, or are you good right now?
Keep going.
Keep going? Okay.
We got 15 more minutes.
Okay, cool. Ain't no thing. Let's get Jeremiah.
But there's something I want to bring up about this. That one verse, though.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Why you doing that?
This is my argument about that one verse.
Yes.
Why didn't Mary and Martha want to anoint? Why couldn't they anoint him?
Why they could not anoint who? The Messiah?
The day before.
They couldn't touch him.
Why?
He was already gone.
Yeah, he was already gone, but why couldn't they touch him the day before?
It was the Sabbath.
Him first.
It was the Sabbath, right?
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
And you have what? Ritually clean on the Sabbath.
Right. That's right.
So this is my argument with that scripture, though. Because you gotta understand it's been transliterated.
That's right.
So was it really at sunset that they showed up? Or was it during the morning?
It was during the morning. It didn't say during sunset. It says during the morning.
I know, but I'm asking the question.
Oh, you asked me the question.
I'm asking the question
Uh-huh.
because remember, Westerners don't understand time periods.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because we say at the beginning of the next period. So
Yeah.
we know that the first part, we know that when the sun sets tonight, it's actually the next period of day, even though it ain't daytime.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Well, what
saying?
it is, what it is, Jimmy, what it is this. This. It's the end of the period, not the beginning. This is why. Think about it like this. If you have Monday morning, you have to have a Monday night. If Tuesday morning, you have a Tuesday night. You have a Wednesday morning, you have a Wednesday night. You have a Thursday morning, you have a Thursday night. If you have a Friday morning, then you start your Sabbath. Where's your Friday night? See, we had just gotten rid of a whole time period because we're operating out of function. The time period, we went through the whole week and we had a Monday, a Tuesday, Monday night, Monday day, Monday night, Tuesday day, Tuesday night, Wednesday day, Wednesday night, Thursday day, Thursday night, Friday, and then we started Sabbath.
But
It's not even functional.
according to scripture, it is
Yep.
Monday evening, Monday day, Tuesday evening, Tuesday, Thursday evening, Thursday, Friday evening, Friday, Saturday evening, Saturday.
Okay, watch yourself. Let's go. Let's go here because let's go to Genesis 1:1, and I want brother Joseph to read Genesis 1:1. Watch yourself. Start at from 1 and read on down until I tell you to stop. I won't interrupt. Read till I tell you to stop.
In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the spirit of Elohim moved on the face of the waters. And Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
See?
Stop right there. Stop. But I want him to read it again. Read verse 5 again.
And Elohim called the light day. He called the
Hold on a second. Listen to what he's saying, Yemi. Listen to what he's saying. And he called it. He naming it. The Most High is naming something. He's naming it. He's giving it a title.
Right. So he named it day and night.
Day.
Right.
No. Listen. He called the light day, Yemi.
Right. And he called the night what?
He called the darkness night.
Okay. Henceforth, and then keep reading it, said, and that was the even and the morning were the first day.
Beautiful. Listen, and you read it clearly, but listen to what it's saying. And evening and the morning. The next morning was the next day, not the evening. It's not saying the evening was the next day. It says evening, then morning was the next day.
I understand what you're saying, but listen to me. The evening starts the 24-hour cycle.
Yes, it completed the 24-hour cycle. Yes, it completed it.
So it starts it as well.
Okay. Well, then that means it's all put together because he divided it, Jimmy. Remember, there's a 24-hour cycle, and then there's night and day. Night and day put together. Listen, my friend. You have day and night. You put them together, you have a 24-hour cycle, right? Completion. Okay. If you divide them, you have a day and you have a night. You get my picture now. You did.
Yeah.
In other words, the day have a function, the night have a function. When they complete, when they finish, they're complete.
Right.
Okay, they're
No
complete.
argument.
Then you start back over again. You have a day and a night. Then you put them together. They're complete. Start back over again. A day and a night. Complete. Day, night, complete. Day, night, complete.
But the even starts the 24-hour. It ends and it starts in the evening.
Okay. Like the sister said, I'm lost. Okay. Let's simplify this again. So when we say daylight, what does the day do? What does the day do?
The day is the period where we work.
Okay. But I'm saying, according to scriptures, and Elohim called the day what?
You know, light day.
He called it day. He called the light day. You cannot begin a night period with a day. That's not the way it functions. The night time it serves its purpose. It ends the day period, but not the 24-hour cycle. It starts, and that's what I'm agreeing with you saying. It starts the period of time for that 24-hour cycle, but it doesn't start the day.
Right, correct. I'm
agreeing with you. But hold on. What I'm saying is, I'm looking at what the sister's saying, and she's getting lost. See, that's going a little bit too over her head. See what I'm saying? See, when I got what you're saying, Yemi. But when we do that, what we're doing is, in the mindset of people, we're putting it all together and say, well, okay, well, the evening started the day. That's not what the Most High said. The day was started by the light. The evening was the night period, but the evening was the start of the 24-hour cycle to complete the full day.
Right.
All it's saying. So I'm agreeing with you. But what happens is, there you go. Now she get it. Starting at the evening. There you go. Now they getting it. See what I'm saying? So that's why I said I didn't want to go that deep with him because it confuses a lot of people, and that's why we got a lunar cycle. Because what happens is,
that's what I was trying to explain about Mary and Martha. And what the scripture is saying, though.
Yeah.
Because in the transliteration of things, were they confused? Were they confused?
Okay. And I see what you're getting at. But looking at the function, right? Let's look at the function of not only Torah, but our customs. Like, let's look at the function of our let's look at the function of the high holy day. Like you said, this was a high holy Sabbath, right?
Correct.
Okay. That is always yeah. This is the start of a high holy Sabbath, right?
I might need to make a bed for her because I'm about to put her out.
Yeah, I see. I got what you was getting at, but I knew that when you go there, you was going to confuse them because they're not ready for that. See, we don't want to put too much food in. You know, they on milk. I knew where you was going there. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Yo,
let me make it make sense.
Come on with it, Yosef.
The day. See, what's easy to get confused is to think the evening is the night. Evening is not night. Evening is a part of the day.
There you go.
The morning and the evening make the day.
There you go. The morning and the evening, a complete cycle.
Wait a minute. Let's be specific. The morning and the evening make the 12-hour cycle that we call day. Evening is not night. Evening is evening. Just like the day, you have like the day from like the first hour to the ninth hour is day. And then
Yeah.
after that, you have the evening.
That's right.
Bring those two together, they make the day.
Hey, that's
The
right.
evening is not the night. The
The
evening
evening
is
is
a
not.
part of the day.
That's right. Come on with it. Come on with it. Come on with it.
That's as simple. That's as simple as you think of it. There's two elements of the day: the morning and the evening and the morning are the two components of day,
There you
of
go.
light.
Of light. A light. A light. Yeah. Of light.
When you get to night, it's dark.
It's dark. Hey, come on with it. Come
Dark
on with it.
is not the evening. Dark is night.
Dark is night. That's what
He
he said. Dark is
separated.
daylight.
He separated. He made the light and the darkness, and he separated them. You
Come on.
can't take evening and put it into night because night is night.
Night is night. And you're not going to start your day at night.
No.
Exactly. There you go. See, that's what, like you said, that you just simplified it even more simpler. There you go. You just simplified it even more simpler. This is why he called the darkness night.
So
He didn't call it evening night. He didn't call it evening night. He called it darkness night. See, there you go. See, brother. Yeah. See, and that's the confusing part of our people.
That's the confusion.
That's the confusion.
We putting words in Yah's mouth. He didn't say that evening was night.
He didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. That's right. He said that the morning and evening completed that day.
That day.
And then when that nighttime period comes, that's a whole other separate thing. And then start another day. He started in the morning.
And the morning and the evening make the next day. The darkness makes the night.
There you go. Come on with it.
Night is just night. I mean, when that sun, that ninth hour, I'm sorry, sixth hour, what we call sixth hour.
Yeah.
There's sunrise.
That's right.
Then you got the high noon. Then you got what we call afternoon. And those are our divisions. Then you got the evening.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you. I see you this evening. Now, we're not going to see me in the dark. You're going to see me this evening. The evening is when that sun starts to fall.
That's right. There you go.
It starts to not fall, but it starts to go, to make that circuit toward the darkness or toward night. What part of the day we gonna meet? We gonna meet in the morning or we gonna meet in the evening? But both of them are day.
Exactly.
Like 8 a.m. and p.m.
There you go. Your daughter have another question. She says, so what is night? Night is when there's no sunlight. Layla. There's no sunlight. There's this complete darkness.
When the moon is out.
Darkness. What's that?
When the moon is out.
There you go. That's your night. She said she's back on track. Okay, good. I just want, again, you know this, Jimmy. Joseph know this, but a lot of times we have to make sure that we don't go too deep for the people that don't, they ain't ready for that, how you say it, for that meat. They're still ready on the milk. So thank you again for that breaking down from the evening point, Brother Joseph, because again, that's very important. That evening point, because a lot of times our people are starting the evening to make a new day. That's not what the Most High is saying.
Now we say it.
He's completing that day. He's completing it. And the thing about this is, man, the reason why I know this is because me and Melinda have had this conversation. You know me, you talked about this, and I told you how I had to break this down to Melinda before, Brother Joseph. Because again, the confusion, because that's not only the doctrine of the Seventh-day Baptist Church, that is the doctrine of the so-called Jewish people. But that's not scripture.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a doctrine that's made by people that just want to matter of fact, that doctrine actually came out of the Babylonian captivity, because that's what the Babylonians did. The Babylonians worshiped the moon.
Yeah.
That's where that doctrine came from. That's a whole other subject. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so let's get back on what you said. So let's get back on track, right? So what scripture I said we're going to? I know it said something about Jeremiah, right? There was a Jeremiah I said.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, let me look at it right there.
You
Jeremiah 30.
still didn't finish explaining about Mary and Martha.
Okay. Dealing with Mary Magdalene. Okay, let's do that. Let's go back there. So that was what that was Mark what? There's Mark chapter 16. There's Mark chapter 16. Yeah, that was chapter 16.
Yeah.
Go read that again. I'll read Mark chapter 16, start off at verse 1 and 2, and I'm gonna go get another script to kind of break that down.
Okay, it says, and when the Sabbath was passed, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Salome, had brought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And they said unto themselves, who shall roll us away the stone from the door of the sepulchre?
Okay, so let's do this out. That's a very good question that Yemi posed. So let's do this here. Give me a second. Let me go to. Do me a favor, Yemi. Look at John.
You know I
Chapter.
can't do that.
You can't do what are you doing?
What are you looking for?
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew chapter. Let's go to Matthew chapter 28. Start at verse 1. All right? Matthew chapter 28.
It says, now after the Sabbath. Okay, I'm sorry. Now after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of Yahweh had descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat on it.
Mm-hmm.
And his countenance was like lightning, and his clothing was as white as snow.
That's right. No, I just want to get that. Just read verse 1. Just read verse 1.
Okay.
Verse 1. Read it one more time out.
Okay. Now after the Sabbath.
Listen. I want everybody to listen to it, brother. You know where I'm going at.
I know where you're going. Yeah. I know.
Listen to what he's saying.
We got to listen close now. We got to listen close.
You got to listen close. Because if you don't, you're going to miss it. Read it slow for him again out.
Now after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb.
Stop. Do you see it now?
Yep.
Do you see it now? What we're going to do is, now to edify that, let's go to John chapter 20. Let's go to John chapter 20.
Mm-hmm.
See, because the scripture says you have to get, 2 or more witnesses, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's go to John chapter 20. And I want verse 1.
Now on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb early, while it was still dark, and saw that the stone had been taken away from the tomb.
Okay, now do me a favor. I jump over to verse 19. Same chapter, verse 19.
Wait a minute.
It's gonna come together when you see it. You see it?
Okay, now where do you want me to go?
I want to just jump over to verse 19.
On John chapter 20?
Yeah, John chapter 20, verse 19.
Okay. John chapter 20, verse 19. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst and said to them, "Peace be unto you."
Okay, now let me see if you know if that helped Yemi to edify what we was talking, what we was question. You kind of got what it said, Yemi?
Yep.
Did that clarify the thing we read in Mark?
Yep.
Okay. So for the people, what the scripture is teaching us is that it goes back to what we were saying about understanding the day period and also the feast day, the high holy day, and the purpose of the high holy day.
Mm-hmm.
There's the preparation day. There's a preparation time. And even after the preparation, and even in the Messiah's sacrifice, even in his crucifixion or his sacrifice, he still kept the Shabbat, is what Yemi was getting at, right? Is that my point? That you was getting at, Yemi?
Yep.
Okay. He was still keeping the sacrifice. He was still clean. So looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, now from a natural standpoint, we supposed to be presented to the Most High and clean too. We not supposed to be defiled. That's basically what Yemi saying. But them, if they were not clean, they could not touch him. That what you was getting at, Yemi?
Correct.
Okay.
Could not touch him going in to the tomb to prepare the body. That's why they had to go through the Sabbath, because we're clean the day of the Sabbath.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So I just wanted to get the scripture. I couldn't find it, but as brother Joseph was really going over and breaking that stuff down, I was able to find the scripture to edify, because again, I've heard that before, like you said, it is kind of confusion to people that don't really understand the function of the high holy day. So being that the Messiah was he was cleansed, he's holy, he's purified. People that are not cleansed, people that have not reached that point, they couldn't touch him. He has to go to the Father and not be defiled, if that makes sense. I'm gonna put it like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He can't. If you touch him, he's defiled. That makes sense. So this is why Israel. This is why he used the terminology. Israel is presented as a what?
A filthy rag.
No, we are filthy rags, but we supposed to be presented as a chaste virgin.
Right.
Until we get out of our filthiness, once we get out of our filthiness, then we're supposed to be presented to the Most High as a chaste virgin. That's what he was presented to the Father as a chaste virgin.
Mm-hmm.
That goes back to what you said, Yemi, about the cloth. When the cloth was left in the sepulcher,
Yep.
right? The diary.
Yes.
So all this is about it begin to make more sense now to everybody, right?
Right.
Okay.
All right. Let's let's close this off.
Okay.
You wanna we're gonna pick up here next week?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on, let me change this around.
And next time you have some of these questions that the people ain't ready for, Yemi, you wait till we you know Yemi like to go deep, man. Yemi like to go deep on us.
That ain't my fault.
I know it ain't your fault, man. But but I'm glad you did bring that up, because again, I've heard that before, and a lot of people don't know that. It's still a lot that we have to really be able to deal with. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so everybody, I want to thank you once again for joining us for this Shabbat Day class. It has been an honor to serve each of you, to the 12 awesome channels that are in the room, to everybody that came to listen and to hear. Um, yeah, my daughter says she stay asking me questions, and she does.
That's
Um,
beautiful, though, man. She wanted to
yeah,
know. That's
it
beautiful.
does. I want to thank y'all. I want to thank my brothers Yosef and Malak for coming and spending this Shabbat with me and with y'all. Um, anything to say before we pray?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
No,
good.
good.
Okay.
Let me add this here. Next week, family, what we're going to do next week, because again, I could have went there, but I didn't want to go into the whole lunar thing without breaking this part down. Because once we break this down, and now y'all got an understanding of this, it's actually going to help you out more with the lunar Sabbath. It's going to really fix a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? Because everything has to have its function. And if we don't understand the function of the day and the night, it's the lunar Sabbath is still going to be another piece of doctrine that's going to have us confused.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, the reason why we're going into the lunar Sabbath is because we're going into Pesach.
That's right. That's right.
And I want to get everybody on board because we're going into Passover or Pesach, and we got to get everybody ready for this holy day. We are going to do Pesach together as a community. As a community, we so my wife, she's going to make unleavened bread, and we're going to do it. I don't know if we're going to do it over here. I'm not sure yet, but we're gonna make this thing work this year. So I want everybody to just dang, I went numb. I want everybody to be prayerful for all of us. We are grateful for y'all's support of our channel, of this assembly,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna get ready to pray out. Abba, y'all, we thank
Oh,
you for another. Yeah.
let's. I'm not. I don't want to put the brother on the spot, but for everybody, brother Joseph, I want you to give us the good news, man. Give us.
Oh, yeah.
Family need to hear this, man. The family need to hear this.
Oh, yeah, I shared it with Brother Malak earlier. My eldest son, he's came into the truth or woke up to the truth. It's been in process. Excuse me, my phone just went crazy, but yeah, he came into the truth. He's awake to the truth, and he wants to be baptized during the Passover, during Pesach. So uh, just wanted to share that with the family. That matter of fact, he texted me yesterday and bugging me about what the preparation is. Not bugging me, but you just have to understand our relationship. Uh,
Bugging me.
Staying on me about the time schedule and the preparations, and so we give all praises to the Most High for him uh, opening up my son's eyes, waking him up to the truth, and being committed to wanting to not just being baptized, but just walking in the truth, walking in the newness of life,
Hallelujah.
which is what the symbolism of the baptism is all about. So uh, we give all thanks and praises to the Most High for that.
Is he here? Or is he in Houston? I mean,
No, he's in Austin.
Okay.
He lives in Austin.
because I was trying to figure out if I'm gonna have to go ahead and drain and clean the house so we can dunk him here.
We
Yeah.
can do that.
That,
But
that's
we'll
a good
get together on
idea.
that
Yeah.
and
That
we'll
way,
hash out those details.
because we can do it right here. I mean,
Yeah.
we got a hot tub.
Shalom, brother Gabrielle. Shalom.
So Unless you want to dip them in Lake Ray Hubbard, it's kind of cold.
That's what I was thinking. Brother Malak and I were talking about. Brother Malak live on the lake over there on Joe Pool Lake. But yeah, it's cold. That water's cold. It's just not quite. Well, it's right at the beginning of spring, so that water is still pretty cold. But
All praise the Most High. All praise. Yes. That was it.
Hallelujah. Well, let's go ahead and pray. Abba Yah, we thank you. We thank you for awakening another soul to the truth. We thank you for guiding those who are at the sound of our voice today. And Abba Yah, we ask you that you would continue to open up the eyes of those who are lost, those who are seeking knowledge, and those who are seeking your truth. Yah, we ask that you would feed those who are hungry. And Yah, we ask that we would be more understanding of those who are seeking out your truth. Abba Father, let us be more attentive, let us be more understanding, and let us have a clear idea of what we need to say to them. Yah, we just thank you, we honor you this day. And Father, we ask right now that you would touch everyone at the sound of our voice, touch those who are bereaved. Yah, we ask that you would touch those who are sick. We ask that you touch Sister Ann and Brother Steve. We ask that you would touch Brother Gabrielle, his wife as well. We ask that you would just move through our community and through our assembly. Let your healing grace fall upon us. And we ask that you strengthen each and every person that is here assembled with us today, and those who may watch this playback. Yah, we thank you once again, and in your name we give the high praise, and we say hallelujah,
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 hallelujah.
hallelujah.
All right,
All right.
brothers.
Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom.